Video number 100. Okay, so for that, we shall be doing the next installment of Mania Training Guide. So this will be for Mania Training Season 7. As you guys can see, I've cleared Hysterical already. I'm not gonna do a guide for the previous ones unless all of you beg me to do a violent guide. It's pretty much, to be honest, it's pretty much have good units and cheese it. So Hysterical is the one where even if you have, say, like lots of level 90 sinners, you might not be able to pass. So we're gonna do a guide for that one. So we're just gonna restart from the very beginning. I'm gonna go through all the mechanics with you guys. Okay. So, every single stage now has a time limit. So you'll see, defeat all enemies in waves 1 to 3 within 8 minutes. The next set will be 9 minutes, so 4 to 6 will be 9 minutes, and 7 to 9 will be 10 minutes. I do think that the time limit is enough. I think it's pretty unlikely that you will run out of time, so you don't need to worry too much about that. Now, we will be running Empower because I love running Empower. As usual, you will want to run a Sinner who, you know, does normal attack damage with a good range. So you've got Lady Pearl, Shalom, Langley as like really solid Mania training options always. Also got Lamia here. You've got any 4 of these, you know, you can consider bringing a couple of them. I would say the high priority ones are Pearl, Lamia, and Shalom. Langley's a little lower priority, but she can still be really good because of her mobbing ability. So you can consider any of these 4. Right. If you have Shalom in particular, please bring her. I cannot overstate how strong she is. Seriously, 瑟琳她真是太强了，妈的。So you have her, please bring her, okay? Let's say you don't have Shalom, right? Then, like, you're a new player, you didn't roll her banner, what are you gonna do? Let's say maybe you've got Lady Pearl, right? And you want to run Weakspot because Bianca's banner is just over. So let's do a Weakspot run here. Yeah? And this is the Weakspot team. So we've got Bianca, Shawn, and Golan. If you were not playing during Angel's event, you may not have Golan, which is okay. You can use another Endura. So your options include, you know, you can use Rahu, good tanking ability. If you have her ECB unlocked, there's a little panic button there for you. Ovo, one of the best Enduras, always strong attack buff, does core breaks. Chelsea usually is very strong in Mania training. I believe Chelsea is still strong if you bring Eve specifically. So if you play Summon Team with Chelsea, she can be the Endura. But otherwise, I would kind of recommend not bringing Chelsea this season. I do think without the Summon HP, Summon Defense buff, she can kind of fall short. So I would recommend taking a normal Endura instead. Now we're gonna take Golan with us because, you know, she matches with the Weakspot team, and to prove as well that an A rank tank can carry you through this. I would not recommend Bleed. Drea's personal buff is not very good this season. It literally just slows all enemies by I think like 25%. It doesn't increase your damage, and the rest of Bleed doesn't have their own buff, so you might as well just play something else. You know, I don't really think Bleed is a good option if you're struggling. Like, it could be a nice challenge run, but you're struggling, I would not play Bleed here. Even though Levy can self-regenerate, I don't really think that's a good idea, okay? Other options, you know, you've always got Eirene, a battery for Chief, helps you get more Chief energy with her passive. Also, you can set up a bunch of mines for the boss when they appear later on. You also want a healer. So Hamel, the most classic choice, can't be targeted by enemies, heals the entire map, just heals a crazy amount. She's good. You have Hamel, you can just bring her. Just grab Final Prologue, right? Other good options, Duro. Duro is strong as well, as in like previous seasons. So her ECB is able to resurrect an allied sinner. She is the only sinner again who can do this at the moment. We don't have a cheese skill that can do it for this. So if you make a little oopsie and like someone, you know, passed away, you can revive them. You can also kind of cheese with your tank because they get revived at full health. So you can let your tank, you know, eat all the damage and die, like during the boss stage, for example. And then you just revive them with Duro and they're like instantly back at full health. Honestly, that once has saved a couple of my runs. So I would quite recommend Duro if you have them. Now you might be thinking, for Weakspot specifically, you have Shawn already. Shawn's a catalyst and Shawn can heal. Why do you not just use Shawn as the only healer? Girl, it's not enough. Like, it is, But it's tough. Just bring 2 healer. Like, Bianca does so much damage. You don't have to squeeze another carry in. Just bring another healer and make your life easier, okay? Trust me on this one. So, for the sake of demonstration, we're not going to use any limited units. Now, instead of Shalom, so I find that if you funnel energy into her and you cold break smartly, efficiently, 1 Shalom is technically enough to get you through most of the cold break requirements. So you could go with that route if you have her. Otherwise, you know, just bring Labyrinth for cold break purposes. But yeah, so we're just gonna roll with this and I will explain mechanics as we go. Okay, so the way buffs work this time is that you have these things called parts. Here, you start with 100 parts in Hysterical. And you can upgrade certain buffs using your parts, okay? In the very first wave, it's good to reroll here because you can get Sinner buffs. So let's say you want to use Nox for her infinite ult buff. You can just pick Nox and then sit on wave 1 and like refresh, you know, refresh. Oh, you don't get Nox and then you just restart. And then you start until you get the Sinner buff that you want, right? I'm going to link a spreadsheet with all of the buffs that we know of so far that you can have a look at, so you can kind of like determine maybe what build you want to go for, like which Sinners you want to use because they have a good buff. But yeah, this is a pretty good one, the boss HB one, but oh, Shalom is a very good one as well. Doro is it's not that great, but Shalom is really good. We're not using her though, so instead what we are going to aim for with Weakspot team is the Weakspot and Bianca buffs. They are very good, like very good. Okay, there we go. So we've got Bianca's buff. Now, Bianca normally has no way of attaching Weakspot on her own. Her kit just doesn't have it. She can only remove it with her attacks, which is why she needs Shawn with her. But her buff not only increases her normal attack damage, it applies Weakspot to all enemies on the field every 20. Like, that's good, okay? Like, so let's pick that up. I'm gonna pause now. In this season, the way you upgrade with parts is that at any point you can pause your run, you go to buffs, and you can level up your skill. So you don't have to wait for like between each wave, you don't have to clear a wave. You can do it in the middle of a wave and it will apply. Now, why is Bianca's buff so OP? Now, for just the cheap price of 100 parts, she can now apply Weakspot to all enemies, no matter where they are on the field, every 8 seconds. She can't even do this in her regular kit by herself. Like, that's crazy. Strongly recommend, if you are running Weakspot, get the Bianca buff and upgrade it immediately. It is so good. You will do so much damage. Yes, so we're gonna play this out now, and yeah. So I recommend you put your Endura at the bottom row because there's like this long range toy soldier that does quite a bit of damage to anyone that's not an Endura. And then you're gonna get these 2 core soldiers coming out from the bottom. So what you need to do is you need to block them with a unit. They'll do this little front roll, and once they roll over your Sinner, they'll have 1 core. So Labyrinth's great here because she can just like spin like to ends of the earth. Okay, so we're gonna get rid of that real quick. Now, also Labyrinth is good here because these yellow chickens, so like they're small blue chickens, right? They're like big yellow chickens. After they lose like a certain amount of health, the yellow chickens will reveal a core and then like go zoomies. So you want to do some damage to them, then use Labyrinth to just spin them like that, you know? And yeah, so you can see here, once you took a bit of damage, you got a core. We're gonna, oh, we missed that. That's okay. But yeah, we're just gonna beat them up. Chuck a couple of spells on them, you know, get that core broken. And yeah, we're gonna move Golan in front to take more damage. Again, this long range soldier, so keep Golan on the bottom row so she can tank it. Yeah, wave 1's done. So again, you can, the lock mechanic still exists here. You can lock a buff to make sure it doesn't go away and reroll. So like you have a buff that's kind of good, but you want to like gacha the rest and try to get a better one. You can lock it. and then reroll. Okay, so it's same as last season, you can do that. So we're gonna go with defense buffs here, because I'm scared for my life with Golan. But yeah. We're gonna switch on her ult again. Just keep her topped up with some energy, make sure we don't overcap too bad. So a couple of elites will spawn at once. You don't want to get them all like too early. So you can like pile it up now and core break them all together. Efficiency, you know? We're just gonna take it slow here so you guys can kind of see like the pace at which the stages go. Now, you can see after these 3 core enemies come out, the duck comes out from here. Like, it's easy to miss if you're focusing too hard on them. The duck comes out here. And what the duck has this season is if you go to enemy info, you can see upon spawning generates a single grid shield lasting a few seconds, which blocks normal attack damage outside the shield. So let's say you have like Shalom, right? Or Bianca or Pro, whatever, okay? You want to make sure they're the ones inside the tile so the duck actually takes damage. Spell damage still goes through. But normal attack damage, that sinner has to actually be inside. So we're gonna move Bianca in. And also use Labyrinth to do a couple of spinny spins. And just go to town. And yeah, melt down the duck. So as usual, if you manage to successfully defeat the duck before it runs to Chief, then you will be able to get a bonus buff. So instead of picking only 1 buff, you can pick 2 buffs after the end of this round. And yeah, I'll just get extra mob there, clear it off. So here we go. This one's not bad because you can upgrade lots of stuff. But we're gonna YOLO and refresh. Oh, this is spicy. Okay, so boss HP decrease and take 20% more damage is good because, you know, you kill bosses faster. And boy, do you need it because they do a lot of damage. This one is underrated. If you get this, try to get as many parts as you can. If you're lucky, right, you can get like 1,000 something, 2,000 something points. That's like 100%, 200% increase in attack speed. It goes crazy. So this is actually a really good buff, but you have, if you pick it, you have to commit to saving up your parts, okay? So we're gonna go for that and like try it out and see how we're gonna do this time. Okay, so the boss is going to appear after the danger. Now, a couple of things to note. So on wave 3s, when a boss appears, it's going to be the scare box. The real issue are these dog toys. So you can see that after it spawns, it gets a shield. It gets like a 77k shield. Can you see that number, guys? While the dog has shield, its attack greatly increases and its attack speed greatly increases. When I say it increases, it will delete your tanks in a matter of seconds. Not only that, it stuns your tanks, so your tanks can't use like regeneration skills, they can't use invulns, you can't even move them away. So these doggos are a pain in the ass. So my advice is you actually just move your entire team back as they approach and you try to melt them down. The doggos are 100% your priority. Literally just ignore the boss for now. Get the doggo shields broken so that your tank can tank them normally without getting like absolutely wrecked. Okay, so we're gonna quickly pop Bianca's buff up. We're gonna move everyone away here real quick. You see this one, these big doggos get the shield as well. So see that shield there? So you wanna try your absolute best to just get rid of them as soon as you can. Otherwise, your tank's just not going up. Look at Golan, she's stunned. I'm like just piling the healing on her. The bottom wave, these rolling guys, I don't know what to call them, are gonna appear. So we are just going to get Pearl to deal with them in the corner. No big deal. She does enough damage to, you know, deal with it on her own. And yeah, you can see Bianca just absolutely demolishing, just shredding, going through that boss. Just wild. So I think a big reason why Beneath the Mask Crime Brand set is so good on Bianca is because a lot of the times, with how much defense bosses have, For example, the newest season of Broken Frontlines Dark Zone, bosses have 300 something defense. Bianca can usually benefit from the full effect. Oh, set a lot. So these dolls, whenever you kill the big ones, they spawn like a bunch of small ones. The red one as well, you kind of see it here. When you kill it, it's gonna spawn like a million tiny ones. It's a huge pain, but you know, we ball. We're gonna use Bianca here. So if you set Bianca here, she can kind of hit everything, which is very convenient. Oh, we can't move anymore. That's okay. We're in a good spot. It's gonna heal up Labyrinth to make sure she doesn't go down. And yeah. So we're gonna get another doggo here after you kill the boss. It's not timer based, this one. It's after you kill the boss, you get another doggo. Let's get the shield, you know, do your best to kind of like wear it down. And then move your units away again. At this point, you can move as much as you want, regardless of your movement count here. So you can use them all if you want, because on wave 4, it's gonna refresh. And then again on wave 7, it's gonna refresh. So at this, on the boss waves, you can move as much as you need to. So we're gonna save the latest record, which is the one we're doing right now. Now, so you can see here, defeat all enemies in waves 4 to 6 within 9 minutes. So again, there's a time limit, so you know, don't dilly-dally too much. Try to pick buffs that are a little more offensive, so like more attack, more damage, more attack speed. Try not to pick too many defensive buffs unless you're confident your units have enough damage. I'm pretty confident because, you know, I'm running Lady Pearl and Bianca. But like, if let's say maybe only have Bianca, you don't have another like proper full carry, then I would suggest, you know, really speccing into attack as soon as you can. Oh, this is good as well. So you can get extra parts for every weak spot applied to an enemy, which is nice because we're again going for, you know, the parts for the attack speed. Something I haven't mentioned yet is these special tiles. So you can see a blue tile here and a green tile here. So on blue tiles, you can make the nail gun. So you spend 50 parts to place a nail gun. It's a long range, deals tons of damage to an enemy in a straight line. So it goes like that for 5 seconds. After that, it goes like away. Then you have to pay again to use it. I would not recommend using it to mob most of the time, but I do think if you are struggling on wave 7, you can use the nail gun at that point. But other than that, I don't think they're super worth using on tools. You should use them to upgrade your buffs instead. I think that's more worth it after some testing. But yeah. You know, front flip soldiers will come out. Bianca's here, so number 1, she can hit these units. Number 2, they will flip harmlessly over her. And now Labyrinth can spin here. Okay? So now Labyrinth can get these guys. That's the strat. Okay, flip again. Yeah, oh, another one. Oh, another one. See, that's planning. Okay, so we've got the yellow chickens now. We've gotta, you know, get on with the same stuff. Just chunk everyone down. See, do some damage on them, get their cores out. Stock up the extra energy on Bianca. That's why I think Bianca is really well suited to this season, as well as using Labyrinth. I also think it's not as easy for Labyrinth to randomly get demolished from like the other side of the map this season. So I think it is a bit easier to use her, and I would recommend using her much more wholeheartedly this season compared to last one. We can go with HP defense because we have pretty high, again, with pretty high attack with Bianca and the early buff. So I myself am not too concerned about damage. And we're just gonna send Bianca up here. So there are kind of 2 versions of this rolling ball. So you can have like the small one with the small HP bar, and you've got the big one with a long HP bar. The small ones are whatever, okay? They don't do anything special. The big ones, once they reach a certain like low amount of health, they will have 2 cores and they will have like a red AoE where they will explode. They will do a lot of damage to your units. If your units are not full health and like level 80 at least, they will probably die. you can core break the 2 cores as well, but it does go pretty fast, so I would recommend just moving them out, and once it explodes, it self-destructs, so you don't have to kill it after. So you can see the 2 cores, right? This explosion. Duck. Sometime amidst this chaos, the duck will appear from the middle. As you can see it coming out. It kind of like runs here and then like runs in a circle. You don't have to be too concerned about getting it incredibly quick, but I would recommend trying to focus on it if possible. You can see how much damage it does. Pearl almost goes down from full health, and Pearl has pretty high health. So I again would strongly recommend you don't do that. The ball and the duck are definitely greater priority here. So you kind of like just leave your tank with the healer to kind of just hold them there for a bit. Maybe spin them with Labyrinth. But yeah, generally speaking, they're not too bad. Oh, you see, that's why we get the attack speed per parts buff. It's gonna be spicy. So this one's not terrible. It's kind of like a heavy contamination. When when you use a chief skill, they get a damage boost. This is not bad. We'll just get this one instead. Okay. Doro's buff is not that great. Look at her attack speed. She's going off. Doro, the fastest gun in the freaking West. Don't be like me. Play on 1x speed, because the chickens, when they scream, they make enemy units run really fast. So don't be like me. Just play on 1x speed. Now the problem. So we've got 2 bosses, Raging Bear and Cuckoo Clock. There are a couple of strats you can do. I will not perform the leak here, so we will save the leak, just in case, for the final stage, so wave 9. Because if you leak the boss here, you will not have enough to leak it again. Some people may say you should leak here instead. For example, because in the last wave 9, the mobs, so like the mini bosses, can be crowd controlled, so they can accept fear, they can be rooted by Lamia, and you might find it easier to deal with that way. So you could choose to leak the bear here, because the bear does way more damage. It's way more annoying. But personally, I prefer to leak on wave 9. So choose whichever one is more comfortable for you, okay? So the clock is going to stay there as long as something's in its range, so we're going to quickly swap Golan over so Pearl doesn't freaking perish. Now we're gonna grab Labyrinth, spin real quick. Now here's what I mean about the hitboxes. So this nail gun will actually hit both the bosses, and I think this is kind of the only tool that's worth using. So if I pop this, right? The Lady Pearl's over there. We're gonna hit them cha-cha real smooth over there. Oh, where did the bear go? Okay, so the bear has taken a lot of damage, as you can see here, because of the nail gun. He just took like the nail gun to the face, and as well a lot of hits from Bianca. After a certain amount of damage is taken, he's gonna teleport somewhere. I believe it's the furthest sinner, so it seems like he's come to Lady Pearl. It does go pretty quick, so you have to be careful. Quickly switch your tank over, or else your unit will die. Trust me on that one. And yeah, Godspeed. And good luck. And just try to get it as quick as you can, because your tank is going to suffer. You can see with the power of the nail and Bianca buff, we just go straight through the clock. And now we're dealing with this fella to the best of our abilities. So we got a couple of cores left in us. There we go. And yeah, wiped. And we'll just get rid of the last couple of mobs that spawn after the bosses go down. And there you have it. So that's, again, that's why strongly, if you're gonna play Weakspot, you might as well sit and re-roll for Bianca's buff. Trust me, it is worth it. It is so strong because of just how it works. So anyway, took a quick break for some water. One thing to note about this section is try not to move too much because the boss mechanics will necessitate that you move. So yeah, so I'm gonna re-roll here because Wave 7 as well here is very good to reroll on because you can get Sinner buffs as well, and you can get some really good rare buffs. Let's ball. Get re-ball. So yeah, we're gonna go for that there. You gotta be a little cautious here because she can kind of just die for like God knows no reason. Wave 8 is where we're gonna get the duck. Time treasure duck. Be holding on for that. Have you ever seen Lady Pearl fire so many bullets? The duck will run like this, sort of, and then go around again, so you don't have to be super impatient about getting it. So you'll come down, then now that it's here, we can go down it with Bianca. So you don't have to like necessarily panic and waste too much movement here. Because again, you want to have enough resources to deal with the boss, enough movement to deal with the boss. I don't like this. This is not great, because again, the bosses do a lot of damage. So unless you have like two really strong healers on your team, I would not super sure I would recommend this one. It's a bit of a pain to deal with. But we'll take the weak spot buff. Now, I do think that the weak spot buff is worth upgrading because we get 20% extra attack speed, you know, with the 200 parts. And we get 60%, like so 30% increase in damage that enemies with weak spot mark take. I do think the trade-off is worth it, so I usually get that one level. Again, as usual, we're gonna move Golan away here. Here as well. Our absolute best. You know? Now when the boss spawns, it's going to be Eve's Phantom. She's just gonna sit here. She doesn't do damage. She just chills there. She summons stuff to help her out. So you don't have to worry about blocking her or anything or healing damage from her. Put your priority on the doggo mobs because they are the run enders. You will lose your mind dealing with them. Okay? Truly, the greatest pain in the ass that has ever pained. Okay. Missed another thing. Eve will summon these crocodiles in that grey AoE on the sinner with the highest attack. And they will instantly die, probably, if they're inside. So you should move them out. That's the mechanic that requires movement. And again, that's why Turo is good, because you can now do this. And then it's not a problem. But if I didn't have Turo, that would have been a reset. So that's why Turo is good. Again, I highly recommend our local incense dealer. Yeah, gently move Pearl out. It's not a fantastic position. Some heals going. Oh, Golan's also not in a fantastic spot here. So we'll just slowly move everyone away and kind of adjust. So we're gonna have to revive her here. Then hopefully Bianca can kind of deal with this quick before she goes down again. I'm gonna move Duro here so she can actually heal Bianca. The very high attack speed really benefits Duro as a healer because her basic attack gets way faster. She can heal with that, so that's very nice. So I'm gonna move Bianca up here. So she can kind of help do some DPS. And I'm not going, I have 30 movement. You might think that's a lot, but I'm not going to move anymore for now. And just kind of slowly adjust stuff if I need to. Okay, now I can move Golan forwards if I want to. I will here to help with dealing some weak spot damage. But that's about it. Like I'm not gonna move too much. Now we got the box. Core broken. Got the wild. Here. Gotta get the box dead. While Eve's summons are up, Eve will take less damage, so you want to try and get rid of the puppet box if you can, so you can deal damage to her and, you know, kill her in a reasonable amount of time. And then now, once she gets to about half health, she's going to summon 2 more mobs here, and we're just gonna deal with her for a second until we get there. Okay, now you can see at about half health here, she spawned these 2 mobs. So again, these versions of the toy bear and the clock, you can CC them, so you can fear them, I believe. You can root them, according to our resident Lamia expert. So I would say if you want to deal with them that way, that's possible as well. But if you don't want to, you can leak one of them. So each one of them costs a certain amount of sanity. So each of them deal 10 sanity, and if you have not leaked a single mob before this, you will have 12 sanity. So you can choose one of them to leak. And I just tell you guys, leak the bear. The bear is such a pain in the ass. Just leak the bear. So just move Cha-Cha Pearl real smooth over here, you know, and just let the bear go. You just don't have to deal with him, okay? He just does way too much damage. I'm gonna slowly swap them over and try to take the clock down ASAP. Pearl as well, because she's otherwise going to perish. Now that that's all done, you only have to care about Eve. So just, you know, slap on whatever damage you've got, and yeah, almost there in home stretch. Move Bianca around if you need to, and there you go. So yeah, as you can see, Weakspot team, very suitable. And I also think Macchiato could be very strong for experienced players during the boss stages. So you could maybe bring Macchiato with Shawn, for example, or you could bring both Hamel and Macchiato because of the high attack speed that you can get this season. So yeah, I guess that is it for this Mania Training Season 7. Hopefully this helps you guys with your clears. If you need any more information, if you're confused about certain mechanics, have missed something, you want to know something, leave a comment, ask me, I'll get back to you. Thank you guys so much, by the way. 700 on Twitter, 200 something on YouTube. That's crazy. This is my 100th video, which is also crazy. I never thought I'd post that many. And it's thanks to you guys for the great response. I feel happy whenever I post and I get a good feedback on it. So yeah, I hope this helps you guys, and good luck with your clears. I will see you next time. Bye bye.